What is Marx's theory of profit generation and exploitation? Imagine a world where workers create everything we use, but most of the value they produce ends up in the pockets of those who own the factories. That's the core idea behind Marx's view on how profits are made and why exploitation happens. Marx believed that under capitalism, profits come from the difference between what workers produce and what they are paid. Workers sell their labor to survive, but their labor actually creates more value than their wages cover. The extra value, called surplus value, is taken by the capitalist as profit. Here's how it works. The owner of the factory owns the machines, the raw materials, and the buildings. Workers own only their ability to work, which they must sell to get paid. When workers work, they produce goods or services that are worth more than their wages. The part of the day they work to earn their wages is necessary labor. The extra part of the day they work beyond that is surplus labor. The value created during surplus labor is what the capitalist keeps as profit. Marx pointed out that this process is a form of exploitation because workers don't get paid the full value of what they produce. They get wages that only cover their basic needs, but the value they add to the products exceeds that. The difference is what Marx called surplus value, and it's the source of profit for the owner. Marx also distinguished between use value and exchange value. Use value is how useful a product is, while exchange value is how much socially necessary labor time it takes to make it. Capitalists focus on exchange value because it's tied to labor time and profit. They want workers to produce more than they need to, so they can extract surplus value. Two key measures help explain this process. The first is the rate of surplus value, which shows how much of the worker's labor benefits the capitalist versus the worker. The higher this rate, the more exploitation there is. The second is the rate of profit, which compares surplus value to the total capital invested. This rate shows how much return the capitalist gets from their investment. From a liberal point of view, which emphasizes individual rights and free markets, Marx's ideas challenge the fairness of profit and ownership. Liberals believe that voluntary exchanges and contracts are fair, and profits come from risk-taking and innovation. They argue that not all profit is exploitative if transactions are legal and fair. However, critiques of liberalism often point out that even in free markets, power imbalances and inequality can lead to systematic exploitation. Marx's theory suggests that the way wealth is accumulated in capitalism inherently favors owners over workers. This raises questions about fairness and social justice, especially when profits are made at the expense of workers' well-being. Understanding Marx's view on profit and exploitation helps us see why debates about wages, working conditions, and wealth distribution are so important today. It shows that beneath the surface of free markets, there are fundamental questions about fairness and who really benefits from economic activity.